In my multimedia presentation, I would have, in this segment about my brother Tom, I would have put up a picture of my brother and said, "This is my brother Tom." And then I would tell about my brother, and then I would go into the song that I wrote about him, and that was where the, that was kind of the dropping into the scene, that was where the emotion was. Yesterday I sang the song for Tanya, and then we talked about Tom, and my assignment was to work on making the whole thing a relationship with him, so that there's a seamless integration of the story and the lyric. It's hot and humid. It's a typical summer day in suburban Detroit in the early 1960s. And our shady backyard is a good place for us kids to hang out, but my brother Tommy doesn't want to play with me. He and his friends just jumped the fence and took off, and he knows I can't keep up. Tommy's already 13, and I'm only 8, with Perthes disease in my right hip. What am I going to do? Throw my crutches over the fence first, and then leap the fence in a single bound, and then catch up in a flurry like that cartoon Roadrunner? The thing is, Tommy used to be a fun guy until he was about 12 3/4. Like when I first got the disease when I was 6 and I couldn't walk. I'd sit on the couch and he would do clown stuff to make me laugh. He was pretty good too. He could stand on his head for like a second before tumbling over. Now he's a teenager. Big whoop. Can't be bothered with a little brother. That is not cool. So I come slumping into the house, and Mom picks up on my feeling sad. And I settle into my comfy spot on the couch. She brings me some writing paper and stuff. Why don't you write a story? I make up a story about So-So the clown, who likes to put on shows for his handicapped little brother. I don't know why I called him So-So. He was actually pretty good. He could stand on his head for as long as I wanted. It's mid-60s now, and my hip is deformed, and I'm able to ditch the crutches so I can jump fences, but Tommy's too old for that. He's never in the backyard at all anymore. He's busy with high school, Notre Dame, all boys, the Fighting Irish. Mom likes that, being a Sullivan and all. Tommy tells me how different it is from grade school, like your classes aren't all in the same classroom. There's hard stuff like biology and chemistry and trig, which is short for something else with a Y on the end, but you also get to do cool stuff like build homecoming floats and go to football games and make up stupid cheers to piss off the priests. Like instead of cheer, cheer for old Notre Dame, wake up the thunder cheering her name, the whole student body clusters in one section of the stands and sings, cheer, cheer for old Notre Dame, you bring the whiskey, I'll bring the dames. Well, they couldn't suspend everybody. And then there were the sock hops every Friday night with the girls from Regina High. Father Bryson walking around with a ruler to poke between the torsos of couples that were dancing too close to the slow songs. Pretty soon, Tom's got a girlfriend, Virginia. She lives a few blocks away on Topher Drive. That's 8.5 miles, by the way. She's nice enough and everything. I don't see how he's going to keep both of us happy. It's 1972, and Tom is in Vietnam. He wasn't drafted, he fucking enlisted. To stop communism over there before it destroys America. He's a crew chief on a helicopter ambulance. He writes home, doesn't say much, but we know he's landing on battlefields to rescue wounded soldiers while the bullets are still flying. I'm fresh out of high school, staring at my draft notice. I don't want to go there. I sure as hell don't want to die there. I don't even know what we're doing over there. I'm drawn to the protests, the long hairs, the music, and it's 1, 2, 3, what are we fighting for? My parents are all stressed out that Tom is over there, and even more stressed out that I'm thinking about moving to Canada. It's a foreign country, 30 minutes away over the Ambassador Bridge. If I do that, I know Tom will never speak to me again, which would be a drag because He is picking up unbelievable stereo equipment really cheap in Vietnam. A top-of-the-line TAP 2-track reel-to-reel stereo player and recorder for $50. I go to my Army physical, and I flunk! The Army doesn't want me after all because they don't want to pay for my hip problems when I get older. I get a medical deferment, a free pass. So Tom and I are able to stay in touch without having to confront the reality of our differences. I send him cassette tape recordings of my piano playing, Classical Gas, MacArthur Park. He says the guys like it. It's really the only thing we have left. The soldier hero, the peacenik pothead. Take away the anti-war music, and we had the same taste in pop and rock music. And, you know, maybe one more thing like sports. We could always grumble about the Detroit Lions, but everybody did that. The day he comes home, he gets off the plane and he's shivering, which is weird because it's summer in Michigan. Hot and muggy as usual. It's hotter in Vietnam. That's all he says. He doesn't say anything about the helicopters, or the bullets, or the wounded soldiers. August 1988. Tom's in a coma. We lost touch for a while. I moved west. We both started families, got busy with our lives, but I moved back to Detroit and we find a way to spend time. I'm working at the public TV station. He comes down to help out, answer phones during the pledge drives, and then we go to the Knights of Columbus for a beer. Yeah, it's a Catholic men's club. Tom is the Grand Knight, like our dad was. We're still oil and water in a way. He's the war hero, Silver Star for bravery. He's the good Catholic, a man's man, fixes his own cars. I like theater. But he can see I'm pulling my weight in the world, and by now he's seen more of his share of people who don't. So he no longer tells our mother that his kid brother is as useless as tits on a bull. He still loves to say that, just not about me anymore. One day out of the blue he calls, "Hey, Tom, what's up?" "John, I just wanted you to know I have colon cancer. But I'm going to fight it." Was it Agent Orange? He's been out of the Army too long for them to care about that. They're not going to help. And why Tom? He's only in his 30s. He's got a wife and 4 kids. What good is his religion now? Is this part of God's plan? He goes through treatment. The doctors think they get it all. And Tom thinks he's in the clear. Andrea and I get married in May, and Tom is our best man. He's on top of the world. He gives the toast and everyone's beaming. Happy for Andrea and me, of course, but happy for Tom. The war hero, Silver Star, good Catholic, man's man, cancer survivor. Except the doctors didn't get it all. So here we are. The cancer not only returned, it had spread and metastasized. Tom is dying, 39 years old. I had my private moment with him, but it's a blur. The only thing I remember is that he heard our older sister Kathleen was on her way. So he asked me for any coins I had in my pocket, because Kathleen could spot a penny in a shopping mall 100 yards away, and she would never pass one by. She'd always pick it up. So when he heard she was coming, he threw the coins all over the floor of his hospital room. And when it was her turn to go in, we could hear them break out into a burst of laughter. And that was the last time anyone smiled. He slipped into this coma shortly after that, and we're all taking turns again, keeping vigil, private moments, but there's no conversation this time. It's just, you don't know, maybe he's listening. You may not hear me now. You may not know this voice is mine. I thought we'd have more time. I'm just a little boy. Big brother, please watch over me and help me climb that tree. I wear your hand-me-downs. My dinner place is next to you. I can use my left hand too. Hey Tom, do you remember when we were young? You went to Nam, I grew my hair long. Some ways were different, some ways the same. What can I say? I'm proud to share the name. Open the yearbook too. Homecoming floats and Friday hops. The memories won't stop. Gather for a rosary. The grand knight fills his father's shoes. The good Lord's chosen you. Hey Tom, do you remember?